Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. In the studio with me now is current school board member Allison Campbell. She is gracious enough to drop by and say hello to us. Hi, Allison. How are you?
Hi, Tom. I'm doing well. Always good to be with you.
You want to talk baseball?
You know, we could, but what I'll say about baseball is it's interesting. I haven't been to a spring training game, obviously, in years because they haven't really been having much of spring training. And I haven't been to a minor league game in a really long time.
You hadn't been to a minor league game?
But my family is so adamant they're so – Toronto Blue Jays has become the team. Yes, and we've been to Dunedin. But Toronto Blue Jays has become the team for my family because they have all of the – young stars that are children of the former stars.
Yes.
So and their pitching is amazing, but they're watching games like crazy in my house right now, and they had a long conversation yesterday about how they thought the hitting coach needed to be fired.
You do know, you will remind your house of who is the reigning World Series champions. That would be the Atlanta Braves.
Yes, I know that's to be the case.
And being that your family is from the Nuga area.
I know. Yes.
It's a little blasphemous.
I understand.
A little blasphemous.
It is. But
if you're not cheering for the Lookouts, you should be cheering for the Braves.
Hey, we went to a Lookouts game the day I got married. I got married at 2:00, and the majority of 21 people from my wedding were there at 7 p.m.
If anybody doesn't know who the Lookouts are, the Chattanooga Lookouts. They were a AA team. Are they AAA now, or are they still AA?
No, they're still AA.
Yeah, you know, the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, who were in the Southern League forever,
yes,
are now AAA.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's how much I have given up minor league baseball right now.
AAA affiliates of the Marlins. So.
I don't think we came to talk about baseball.
We did not. So there is a mass movement to southwest Barron County, to the point where even the newspaper now has said that there's a mass movement. So if the newspaper says it's actually happening. There's a projection that with the new developments that the county and the city have okayed in that area, that there will be between 5,600 and 6,000 students within the next 5 years that move in that direction. Infrastructure is a big deal. The county's talking about how they're having to rebuild roads. They're having to widen things. The city's talking about the same thing. School board, the school system is going to have to do something because do we have the proper adequate schools and infrastructure in place in that end of the county to take this influx that they say is going to happen in the next 4 to 5 years?
So to be completely honest with you, the short answer is no, but we are going to come up with some short-term solutions. We had a work session on Thursday where the team at the district started addressing some of these issues. Short-term solution is we'll be putting portables in some locations. Liberty Middle School, for example, was built in a way that they knew they might need portables at some point, and so that's definitely something that can be done there. But when I get completely honest, Tom, and you know that's the only way I operate, the numbers that we heard just last week from the district were the first time that we heard the capacity challenges that we could potentially be experiencing coming really quickly. We had a joint meeting with
Saddlewood's already at capacity.
Oh, Saddlewood's well over capacity.
Right.
There are lots of factors to that too. So within the work session on Thursday, we had a work session with the county in November 2021, and in that meeting, the way the school board presented our numbers was not at all the way the numbers were presented this past week. So I want us and the district, we're all starting to look at it this way. We will be having another joint meeting with the city and the county, but it goes deeper than that because we haven't, in my opinion, we haven't been looking at the urban growth boundary and what the county's plans are with the urban growth boundary and how that impacts our schools, where they're located. Additionally, the southwest triangle of sorts, and you can look at it on our maps and theirs, that actually most of that land has been annexed into the city now. But what the city's plans are for some of that development, honestly, was new news to me. So I sit as a volunteer member, a non-voting member on the city's Planning and Zoning Commission. Each one of the board members is assigned a different municipality. Mine is the city of Ocala. And so sitting in that and hearing a couple of the the developments that have come before the city planning and zoning and then the city council recently, I was unaware that in the city's 2030 plan or 2035 plan, it actually shows some of that development as infill. And I'm surprised that no one has been talking about that prior to right now. So if the city had always planned on infill in some of these locations where these developments have now been, unapproved or, denied, I guess you could say, if that was always their plan to put projects there, then why haven't we been talking about it and thinking about it? Yes, we have a piece of property in the Winding Oaks community. But if we were to build that right now...
It'd be 4 years before it comes online.
Absolutely. And that's also, if we were to build it right now, Winding Oaks is a whole different community that's not even being discussed about some of these other projects that they're looking at right now. So we have a lot of issues that are coming before us. In the past, the school district had been analyzing it from a strictly birth rate number, and where you consider birth rates at our local hospitals, we are flat. But we're
getting 100 people a week.
Right.
100 people a month, I think is what it is, moving into Marion County.
And for so long, those numbers of people moving in had been retirees and not having an impact on schools. And
it's not now.
It's not any longer. And the marketing that's occurring outside of our community for working families and trying to get folks from New England and wherever else to move here, it's completely shifted the narrative, and it's shifted much more quickly than the school board and the school district has been prepared for.
Is there any discussion, or is it still so preliminary? Because I would think one of the things you could do, like take Westport High School, for instance. It's at capacity now, and there should be an influx. If these numbers are to be believed, there should be an influx of about 1,300 extra students over the next 3 to 4 years, which would take a school that's only supposed to have 2,500 students. It's at 2,700 now.
Right.
That would take it up to almost 4,000 students.
Right.
Is there any discussion with maybe moving the program? Because a lot of the students are there because it's a performing arts school. So they don't necessarily live in that district, but they come there because it's a performing arts school, just like Vanguard's the IB program. Is there any discussions about maybe moving some of these programs out of schools to make more room for students that actually live in the area?
So I do think what will be happening, and I actually have the chart pulled up with me, so that's what I wanted to make sure I had it. Because whenever we had the district, I'll answer your question in just a moment, but whenever we had the district present this to us on Thursday, we asked for some specific things in the chart. It's not just what the capacity is and what the current enrollment is. It's also how many are there because it's an educational choice program, like what you mentioned. How many of them are there because we have done district assignment? So perhaps it's a special education placement for a student with autism or a student with behavior issues or something like that. So maybe we as a district have created a hub and we've created the overcrowding in some areas. Or is it because the students who are zoned there are not actually going to that school? So, I mean, we have some of that too because they've chosen choice programs. So in Westport's case in particular, I do have the number right here, 12% of the student body are there because they've chosen to be there, similar to what you're saying. So when you're asking if we're going to move the program, I don't think we would. What I think we would do is instead offer a performing arts academy in more than one location.
Right.
We, as a district for a really long time, and this obviously predates me as a board member, but one of the reasons that Marion Technical Institute, MTI, our technical high school, one of the reasons it was created and was so thriving at one point was because we had essentially decentralized everything and caused all of these different schools, well, I guess it's more of a centralized model, but all of these different schools, we had eliminated our career and technical programs in our base high schools.
And we put it at MTI.
And we put them at MTI, absolutely. Well, the new philosophy has been, let's bring these programs to where the students are. It keeps them in their base school. It keeps them where they don't have to be bused for, 15, 20, an hour, 15, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever. It keeps them having to be transported so far. It allows them to have the atmosphere of a high school with the prom and football games and all the things that come with being in a base school. And so we've tried to create programs in those high schools. Where I think we are expanding now is to not just have one school for performing arts or one school where you can get auto mechanics, or one school where you can get whatever that might be. I see us in the future adding more, but obviously we're just talking high school, so that's high school specific. When we're talking elementary school, we have significant overcrowding in Southwest Ocala elementary schools. We have some overcrowding in Southeast Ocala elementary schools, and we have plenty of space right now at East Marion or Fort McCoy or Reddick.
Well, some people will say, maybe busing students are making the districts bigger for some schools, because like you have a school right now that you have a security guard that sits out at it, and it hadn't been closed long. But you got an Evergreen Elementary. That's the elementary school just sitting there with nothing to do.
Well,
and people are going, should you look into maybe redrawing the district lines so some of those people that live in the western zones have to come over to Evergreen to ease up some of the elementary issues that are going on with schools on 38 and schools out in the 200 corridor. But is busing long distance really something we want to get involved with as a school system?
So there's multiple answers to what you're speaking about. So first of all, yes, Evergreen has been closed for this year. However, beginning in this next school year, that now becomes an early learning academy. So no, it's not going to start at full capacity, but we will eventually have a pre-K through second grade school on that campus. And so it is being repurposed. This past year, it's taking us a year of planning, and actually there's a survey going out about how we can rename the Early Learning Academy. So go out and check that out, because we do want the community involved in naming the Early Learning Academy. Busing students for long distances is never a good idea. We do it now in some cases, but it honestly is never a good idea. We have especially students that potentially might have behavior issues or might have some level of a special education need. It becomes even more challenging because you may already have a student who's been on a bus for 45 minutes to an hour coming off the bus frustrated to start their day, or they're coming off the bus because they are missing their first period class or whatever that might be. So while moving zoning lines, and this is something that was discussed briefly on Thursday as well, when the board apparently talked about it a few years ago about moving zoning lines, it really wouldn't have impacted us that much. We wouldn't have gained as much as what it looks like we might gain. Another school that has a lot of space right now is Oakcrest. So any of those folks that would be around that community, Evergreen and Oakcrest were really close together. We do have a lot of those families, because of Oakcrest's academic challenges that they've experienced, that have chosen not to be at Oakcrest for whatever reason. Oakcrest is on the rise. I do believe that we're going to see quite the significant shift in their academic performance. They have wonderful leadership, wonderful teacher support. There's just a lot of great things happening there, but because of the significant challenges they've experienced over the last few years, even those that are zoned for Oakcrest, we have a significant reduction in enrollment there with plenty of space. Where we don't have space is in Southwest Ocala.
Is the charter school that is coming online in next year, they have K through the second grade or third grade, I believe, it's coming online.
They're accepting 200 students this year.
And then it's going, next year they'll go to K-5, and then by 3 years or 4 years it'll be K through 8.
Sure.
There is just thoughts about a high school there along the models of the Villages charter school that's going on down there. Is that in itself going to help alleviate, or is that just going to be a stopgap measure and there's still issues? And are the issues only going to be solved by new construction?
So that all of these are really good questions. First of all, with the charter school, I don't believe it's going to alleviate significant overcrowding issues. They are accepting 200 students this year. Is that going to be a blip on the radar for us for a year? Sure. I mean, it is going to help a little, but it's not. And as they continue to grow, but all of the development that we're talking about that's coming, some of the development that we've been talking about of late.
Is some of that development.
Kalesa is some of that development. 5,000 homes at Kalesa alone. I don't know that even if they grew to 1,000 students, I don't know that that's going to even be able to manage just Calessa. I don't know that, honestly, and I'm not a development projection person. I'm that's for the planners to determine. But when we're talking about the family movement that we may be experiencing, and it may even be you have families out in Fort McCoy that are moving into town, or so it may even change the capacity. It may be new folks that are coming in, and based on the projections we're seeing, it looks like we are going to have a significant growth of new families into our community. But we also may have some shifting of where families live now and where they're going to move in the future. So I do think that the charter school in Calessa Township is going to help us some, certainly, and that is, they come through the public school system. We approved their application. They were they're a great model, and that's going to be wonderful for that community. But I don't know that that is going to completely solve the issues. Then when you ask if new construction is the only solution, we have been looking at, and you may have heard in the work session, we have been looking at and not looking at with a very close eye saying, yes, we're moving forward with this. But there is a new model that Polk County has adopted, and they're working on a school right now that's going to be a lease arrangement where it's a company that's coming and building a school, essentially, that the school district will be leasing from them instead of the school district taking on that huge amount of debt to build that. So there's so many conversations around it. The ways that the school district can raise money for new construction are also kind of challenging. Obviously, we had the sales tax, the half-penny sales tax several years ago that helped us build Liberty and Harborview. Helped us, not Harborview, so we helped Hamlet Bowen and helped us build some of the schools that we have now. But it helped us purchase some of the land and things. But we also have some that were on the radar that were essentially in that ballot initiative back then that we ran out of money. And so we had a middle school, what's to be the replacement Lake Weir Middle School, that didn't get built because we ran out of money. And so that's those challenges. And obviously with the 1 penny sales tax that the county commission has right now, we haven't asked to be a part of that. There are several districts around the state. I'm actually asking for the research to be done right now. Several counties around the state that do have a sales tax, that a portion of their county sales tax, a quarter of it or a half of it, does go to their school district. So I'm looking to see how many other counties are doing it that way. That's obviously not something we even asked for. We weren't at the table to ask the county to do that when they just got that on the most recent ballot and was approved. So there are lots of different ways, I guess, that this could be done, but looking at the numbers right now, I think that we need to be on this sooner rather than later, because as you said, new construction takes a long time, and funding new construction takes a long time.
There are some people out there, I've gotten emails here at the radio station, there are people out there go, look, all this construction is being approved. All this development is being approved by the county and the city. The county and the city, while they're approving it left and right, they're behind in their infrastructure to keep up with it. The school board looks like they're behind in their infrastructure to keep up with it. How did everybody get caught like a deer in headlights if everybody, Kevin Shealy of the CEP, business leaders in town and everything, and some politicians have been saying, look, we're booming. U.S. News and World Report just named Ocala the #1 growth metropolis in the country. All this writing's been on the wall. How did the municipalities and the county and the school board get caught with a deer in headlight look? You should have seen this coming and been prepared for it. What do you say to those people?
So I can't necessarily speak for the other municipalities.
Right.
What I can say from the school district perspective is several years ago when the comprehensive plan was changed so that school district essentially was written out of it, the legislature did not ensure that school districts had to be written into comp plans any longer. That was something that was changed statutorily. And so when that happened, and I don't know the year of that, Tom, honestly, but it was several years ago, that when a developer, a new project comes to town, it's common courtesy for them to look at school impact, but that's not necessarily, there's not an impact fee, there's not concurrency, there's not any of that that's associated with it because it's not in comp plan to do so. And so those are conversations that we now hopefully are all coming to the table to have. I can't speak to previous relationships with the different municipalities. All of the leadership, for the most part, has shifted and changed in all of those different areas, governmental bodies, ours included. So now the relationships, I think, are established that we can come back to the drawing board and come back to that table. I think that intergovernmental agreement, or the intergovernmental meeting, I should say, that we had in November was the first step to that. Is it a little too late? Possibly, but we're at least, let's not look backwards, let's look forward. But that was the first one of those that had happened in at least 10 to 12 years, I believe, since Commissioner Stan McLean, Representative Stan McLean was a commissioner, I think, was the last time that one of those had even happened, where we sat down at the table and talked. But as I previously mentioned, our numbers that we presented to them in that meeting were not what they were this past Thursday. So we presented that we weren't seeing the growth and our birth rate was flat, and so et cetera. Yet we didn't take into consideration at that point all the factors that we've now been looking at and understanding this growth is going to impact us significantly.
Is then the alternative, because there's some short-term fixes, but we need long-term solutions. Is one of the main long-term solutions is that there's going to have to be a concerted effort between the municipalities, the county government, and the school board to work on this problem as a cohesive group?
100%. There is no way around this other than unification of all the bodies that can get together. I've been saying for several months now, while I appreciate the staff at each one of these governmental entities, and I appreciate all the work they do and all the conversations they have amongst themselves, the decision makers have to be in the room, and the decision makers have to be having those conversations. And for years, I think that hasn't been happening. And so we as decision makers, we, the ones who actually have the vote that matters, have to start having these conversations together. And it may be one-on-one conversations, county commission one-on-one, city council one-on-one, that we as board members are going and talking. It may be a full body meetings where we have, public notice and the public can be there as well. But we're going to have to start coming to the table together, and it can't just focus on staff talking about it because again, we're the ones whose votes are on the line, and we have to start working together. And I'm excited about the direction we're headed because I believe we're headed there.
A lot of people brush it off as growing pains. I know that can be done, but I think this is a much deeper situation than just growing pains. I think it's one that not that your board is doing it now. You're addressing this situation. I think the county and city is too. But I believe the can's been kicked a little bit with this situation, and now it's time to pay the piper. And is it a disservice to the 4,700 plus, 47,000 plus students and the largest employer in the county to the employees of that it's taken this long to address the situation?
So the 43,000, so it's close to 43,000 is our student number. 7,000 employees, close to that, is our number. I don't want to say that we have done a disservice to the students or to our employees as of late, because we have some amazing things happening all over our district. We have amazing educational programs happening. Teachers are working extra hard. We have summer school coming in. Lots of things, lots of positive things are happening throughout our district. Figuring out how we're going to address overcrowding is what's high on the radar right now. How we're going to alleviate some of that in a lot of different ways, whether it's adding portable buildings. As we learned, not all of our schools have the electrical capacity to do that. We know we can't add portables to Saddlewood Elementary School, for example. So I don't want to say that we've done them a disservice. I've only been there for, 17 months now. Right. But the fact that we have this on the radar and we're not going to kick the can any longer, if you want to use that analogy, if there had been can kicking before, there's not any longer, because we as a board are working together to ensure that we're addressing these issues, and that interlocal agreement is being worked on, something also that had been sitting on a shelf for many years without any changes. Board member Nancy Thrower is sitting on that with Councilwoman Kristen Dreyer and Commissioner Michelle Stone. They're working on that. So we're moving in the right direction. It is unfortunate that it's taken us this long to get here.
Allison Campbell, school board member and friend of mine. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day to come in and talk about a subject that's going to be difficult for discussion until we find long-term and short-term solutions. Thanks, Allison.
Thank you so much, Tom. I always appreciate it.
We'll take a break. We'll be back with more on Ocala Talks after this timeout on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pride.
Southern Baptist Convention leaders mishandled sexual abuse claims, and survivors were met time and time again with resistance, stonewalling, and even outright hostility for the last 22 years. That's according to a new report in Sunday's New York Times. Senator Chris Van Hollen, the Democrat from Maryland, was discharged from the hospital Saturday, a week after he suffered a minor stroke. President Biden said during a visit to Japan that American forces would be sent to defend Taiwan if Chinese forces attack the self-governing island.
Yes.
You are?
That's the commitment we made.
Disgraced actor Bill Cosby is facing another trial beginning this week in Los Angeles, California, over accusations that he sexually assaulted a teenage girl in the 1970s. Jury selection in a civil case is likely to start Tuesday. Opening arguments are expected to begin June 1st. USA Radio News.
No matter if supply lines are down, product deliveries are slow, and that most everything costs more these days, you still have neck and shoulder pain, right? Good news. Sunny Bay has new products that target neck and shoulder pain. Products that are in stock now, ready to ship anywhere now. Like our extra long neck heating pads. They provide soothing relief to painful sore necks and backs. You can heat them in a microwave oven, and they come in a variety of colors and patterns. And for stress relief, get our lavender scented hands-free neck wraps. Or maybe you need one of our smaller lower back wraps. Great for seniors. Again, there's no shipping delays from Sunny Bay. Find our new products on Amazon, Walmart, Etsy, and sunny-bay.com. Just search for Sunny Bay neck wraps. All our products are great for men or women, are reusable and easy to clean. Remember, just search for Sunny Bay neck wraps. Order now because stock is high and shipping is fast. From Sunny Bay.
Think again. In the office, streamlining communications. In the field, delivering top-notch service, enhancing productivity and reducing downtime. In the data center, a part of the growing digital document revolution. In the world of business, supporting entrepreneurs and helping companies grow. In the forefront of technology, developing cutting-edge document management solutions. So if you think you know Dex Imaging, you don't know Dex.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros, trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
Two Men in a Truck.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
People here are raving about QC Kinetics and how regenerative medicine has changed their life. People like Helen, an avid mountain climber who got sidelined when an accident left her knees in constant pain.
I was not able to train or do really anything on my knee.
Helen was told surgery would be her only option. But then she found QC Kinetics and was treated with natural biologics designed to repair and restore tissue in her knees. 3 months later, she was climbing the highest mountain in North America.
I got a very quick resolution to my pain. I began treatment in March, and I summited Denali June the 7th. It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
Get your life back with lasting results. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. It's time to get that new look started. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. Humidity is not your hair's friend. It causes your hair to capture moisture and leaves it looking dry and unhealthy. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. So let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
What would you do with $10,000? Find out more and get your ticket at arnetthouse.org. Drawing is May 31st. You do not have to be present to win.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Monday, I want to thank School Board member Allison Campbell for taking a little bit of her day and coming in to talk to us about a very important subject. I don't know what the answer is. I think that the school board has a lot of work to do. And it's, you can't plan or you can't dictate where people move or where people settle when they move here or where people readjust to. And I think Allison made a very good point that I don't think a lot of people, I think people may gloss over. Up until the last 5 or 6 years, with the extensive work done by the CEP and the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the marketing that's done by the county and the municipalities to go after families, not retirees. We have a very good retiree community. Do not get me wrong. It's a very strong and vibrant community. But for the longest time, schools didn't have to expand out on the Southwest corridor because it was mostly retirees. Retirees have grandchildren to come visit them. They do not have children that live with them to go to school. Well, that dichotomy is changing. A lot of the people moving here now because of the industry that has been brought into our area, a lot of people moving here do have families. They do have children. A lot of people are seeing how good Ocala gets rated for different things like industry and school and the rate of pay that has increased over the last 6 or 7 years. And they're starting to start their families in Ocala. Ocala is no longer thought of as slow-cala. It's now thought as a vibrant community that is on the incline. Not unlike Claremont and Ocoee were 15, 20 years ago. As they were bedroom communities of Orlando. Now, we're not bedroom community of Orlando. We're our own entity and growing by leaps and bounds. 500,000 people will live in this area, in this county, in this area by 2040. Less than a generation from now, 500,000 people will live here. By 2030, they expect 400,000 to be here. It's not going to be all retirees. Contrary to belief, the village isn't moving north. It's moving south and west. So a lot of communities are having children come in, families with children. And you need pre-K, and you need elementary, and you need middle, and you need high schools. And you need more capacity for trade school learning, and you need more capacity for IB programs and college preparatory programs. There's 43,000 students now. That number's only going to increase. And, it's been something that has been put on the back burner. The fact that Allison said when she was here, the school board had used birth rates for the county as its guide to school populations. Well, now with the large influx of people moving here that already have children, that has to change. That outlook has to change. And I think finally it looks like that the outlook is changing, There are people who are understanding that this is a problem that's on us now. It's not one that's going to present itself. It's here. Good morning. You're on Ocala Talks.
Good morning, Tom.
Morning, Hugh.
Boy, it's quite a subject with the growth here. It's a lot of people are not for it, and some are. A lot of people are against it, and some are for it. It brings up so many problems with schools and roads and fire protection, crime, police protection. I mean, it's just. I don't know if it's good or bad. My personal feeling was I always liked Ocala as a kind of a smaller type city. That's why I moved here, and I don't know the future. The future here is really something that I don't really think. I think I would care for too much.
And a lot of people think the way you do, Hugh, that they moved here to stay as a sleepy little community and the quintessential Florida, small town.
Exactly.
And that it's through growth and through industry that's not happening. But remember, the town you moved to, when did you move here? You in the mid-'80s?
I came down here in 95.
Okay, in 95. The town you moved to in 95, take a look at what the town looked like 20 years before that in 75.
Yeah.
You moved to a bustling metropolis compared to 75.
Yeah. But, back then you had Silver Springs, and you had that cowboy thing over here in Silver Springs. And
Six-gun territory, yep.
This was a tourist mecca right here. I mean, it was a busy place and a place to come and visit and so on and so forth. But then all that kind of went away. But now it's just big influx of people coming down because they think Ocala, and they know it, and it's true. I think Ocala is a wonderful place. It's got good this and good that and everything else. But as time goes on with this population expansion, and things are going to change. And I personally, I think they're going to not change for the good.
Well, it's like Yogi Berra said. Yogi Berra used to say, anytime a big new restaurant would open in New York and it would get so, originally it'd start out slow and then it'd get so busy, Yogi'd say, man, it's so busy nobody goes there anymore. Well, that's what you're saying might happen to Ocala. People move to Ocala because they love the town square atmosphere and the small town feel with the ability to have big town amenities really close. And now it's starting to become a big town, and people are like, that's not why I moved here. But you moved here for the small town feel without realizing that if everybody moved here for that reason, it was going to create a big town.
Right, yeah. Well, you look down the line. Let's look at let's see during the holidays, light up Ocala. Can you see 50,000 people down there, or that parade 100,000? I mean, that's going to be madness.
Well, right now the parade's 70,000. Right now downtown's 25,000-30,000.
Yeah, and even at that, it's a project getting in and out of there. Let's say they get 150, 200,000 eventually.
Well, do like I do, Hugh. Don't go.
Exactly right. Just pop a Miller open and just listen to it on the radio or watch it on TV.
Watch it on the local access channel. Hello.
Yeah. All I can say is I'm very happy when I came down here. There was no bus service at the time, and even then the town square looked a little dumpy, but they made a really big, great improvements there. But I think I was at the better times of Ocala up to about a year or two ago, and now I just you go to a restaurant, if you're lucky to get in, you got to wait. Shopping is crowded. Traffic is horrendous at different times, and I don't know. It's just it's a change that I'm not looking forward to.
The only good thing I can say, Hugh, is for the side of town you and I live on, I don't think there's a whole lot, even though there's some new housing developments coming out real close to us. I think in the grand scheme of things, development has long passed our side of town. It's on the other side of town.
It seems to be that way. One thing I do have to say about Ocala, it needs more taverns.
It does need more taverns. I'll give you that. Hugh and I are on the same tune there. Thanks for the call, Hugh.
Okay, take care, buddy.
Yeah, it's a problem, that's facing the school board, it's facing the county, it's facing the municipalities. Ocala's having growing pains. Bellevue's having growing pains. Denellen seems to be untouched by it. That may be the next place to locate you to get that kind of small town feel. Is you may have to relocate 25 miles on the other side of the county, Hugh. That may be what has to happen. So, but it's a question and a situation that's not going to go away. So it's something that's going to have to be addressed. And I was glad to hear Allison Campbell say that they've had workshops, and, it's better late to the party than never to the party. So I appreciate board member Allison Campbell coming in and talking to us today from the Marion County School Board. We'll be back up this time out to wrap up a Monday edition of Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA. The Source.
A lot. We do agree Rural King's our favorite place for spring planting.
Yeah, but we've got to focus. Roses, a couple flats of impatiens, and a spade.
A shovel? I'm thinking tiller.
We do not need a tiller.
Wait, a mower. Those new zero turns are sweet.
Focus. Roses, mulch, shovel, impatiens.
Jeez, talk about impatient.
Can I help you?
Yeah, chainsaws.
Let's go.
I'm almost done mowing this section.
Ridiculous.
So many people here are getting real lasting joint pain relief from QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I would recommend QC to anybody.
The work that QC Kinetics did paid off exponentially.
It brought me back to an effective age of almost in my 20s and 30s.
QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologics from your own body, precision treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your aching joints, with no meds, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime.
I got a very quick resolution to my pain.
It is a all-natural therapy. You're using you to fix you.
I got my life back. I got my smile back. And best of all, I got my laugh back.
Don't live with that pain anymore. And don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. Learn more about regenerative options from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. 352-400-4550.
Attention passengers for Flight 1370. The plane has been delayed at its departure point and will be at least 2 hours late. We apologize for any inconvenience.
Are you serious? It took us over an hour to get here, 2 hours going through security and getting our tickets, and now we have to wait another 2 hours.
Yeah, it's beautiful here, but we're inside this overcrowded airport all day because the plane is stuck in bad weather.
This is the last time we ever do this. When we get back, we're going to Ocala Aviation and getting our pilot's license.
Yeah, we've been talking about that long enough. It's about time we did it. Then we could just fly ourselves and never have to deal with this mess again.
Right. No long lines, no full body groping security, no baggage checks.
Not to mention never losing your luggage. Remind me again why we haven't done that?
Well, we're idiots.
Oh, right.
Attention all passengers for Flight 1370. It looks like the plane is going to be delayed a little bit longer. The airline has lost the pilot's luggage. Isn't it time you got your pilot's license? Call Ocala Aviation today. 352-861-7484. That's 352-861-7484. Hey, you've earned it. Call today.
Shamrock Security Systems, 629-3223. Shamrock Security Systems is located here in Ocala, Florida. Shamrock Security Systems is a top-rated alarm company offering 24/7 monitoring, video surveillance, fire and flood protection. You'll sleep a little better once the job is done. Shamrock Security Systems for over 31 years. 629-3223. Get a 100% free quote from Shamrock Security. 629-3223.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy.